a little investigate some pivotal points of sport in the UK. Now I'm going to kind of take you on focusing on that free play idea and kind of put a scenario case study to you concerning this. So here's a scenario for you, which many may have witnessed. A group of 9 and 10-year-old soccer players are waiting for their coach to show up at practice. They each have a ball that's given to them as part of the team. However, instead of dribbling around, shooting or playing or having a little warm-up game, they're standing around sitting waiting for the coach. The coach possibly arrives and asks, "Why aren't you warming up or playing?" The athletes reply, "We didn't know what to do, we were waiting for you." This scenario captures the historic change in youth sport that has occurred in the past sort of few decades, since the 1980s, with adult organised programmes being the norm. So the kind of play and pick up and kind of free environment of kids just having a go and having a kick around is reduced or is almost non-existent. It seems like that kids today don't know what to do without an adult or without adult direction. So perhaps we've conditioned them to think this way, which obviously we'll look at as we progress through this module. So an example, from this kind of pivotal change is a high school football team in America in the late 80s ran their own programs. They structured their own games, coordinated their own travel, and they actually resisted attempts by school officials to regulate their extracurricular activities. So as you can see, there's been a drastic change from student-led activities to actually teachers, coaches, schools organising activity for kids and them being very reliant on those adults. So I mentioned the decline in free play. So why is free play important to children? And what is the place of free play in relation to organised youth sport? Can you think of any important reasons why you think free play is important? Have a think for yourselves, maybe jot some ideas down, and then we're going to progress through and look at this in more detail. Okay, I've got some research to back up why free play is important. Research indicates that free play is essential to cognitive, physical, social and emotional well-being of youth and children. Play enhances basically that creativity and a healthy brain development. So it's about them making decisions, learning for themselves and being in a free environment. Without play, neural pathways for control impulses and emotions fail to develop normally. So this is research done by Ginsberg in 2007. So play is around developing the brain and the kids learn from it. And obviously, as you know, learning is around improving brain's capacity and to react and deal with different situations. So things kids can draw from play, whether that's managing conflict, maybe they're playing a game and they disagree. All those things are part of that learning process. Undirected play allows children to learn how to work in groups, to share, to negotiate, to resolve conflicts and to learn self-advocacy skills. So these are really good people and life skills that they're going to need as they progress, and play basically enhances that. When play is driven by the children themselves, it engages decision making and they discover their own interests and passions. So it's making them think for themselves. So all the points made within this slide, basically highlight how important free play is for the development of children. And we're going to look at this a little bit more in more detail when we progress on to looking at movement skills and the development and learning free play in future weeks. So what I'd like to do now is watch the TED Talk, which you'll find the YouTube link on Blackboard 4. It's basically a video around discussing by Peter Gray on the decline of play. And what I'd like you to do after you've watched it or throughout watching it, make some notes. Write a reflection paper or some key points on what you've learned, particularly new insights you've gained, not only about the importance of free play, but also the reasons it has declined.